What if I told you that one of Bend's most iconic and beloved gathering places was once nothing more than a dusty old sawmill site? And now it's evolving again in ways that might surprise you. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll share what's coming next, because there are some big changes on the horizon. Hey everyone, I'm John Crom here. Welcome to the channel where we cover everything from recreational real estate. And today we're diving deep into the Old Mill. Not just the shopping area, but the full Old Mill district. I'll walk you through its history, what's new, what's coming, and how it all fits into the future of Bend's urban core. Let's roll. First, a bit of history to understand. The Old Mill as we know it. We've got to go all the way back a century. The land along the Deschutes River that now feels so Bend lifestyle was once the beating industrial heart of the town. In 1916, the Shevlin-Hickson Lumber Company launched its mill on the west bank of the river. That same month, not to be outdone, Brooks Scanlon opened their Mill A complex on the east side. These two mills became massive operations running around the clock, employing thousands and producing millions of board feet of lumber. Later, Brooks Scanlon built a second facility, Mill B, upstream, which would become particularly central to the future redevelopment. Over time, as timber resources declined and market conditions changed, the mills shuttered. By the early 1990s, the site was derelict, full of old brick powerhouse buildings, smokestacks, overgrown infrastructure, and a river that had been choked by industrial debris and private ownership. That's when Bill Smith stepped in and saw the opportunity. They bought roughly 270 acres of mill land and embarked on one of Bend's boldest transformations ever. They chose to preserve elements of the original mills, the smokestacks, portions of historic brick buildings, the powerhouse shells, and weave in new public spaces, trails, restaurants, and shops around them. They also restored about 14,000 linear feet of riverfront that had been off limits. They removed debris, reshaped riverbanks, and made the river visible and accessible again. The official redevelopment of the Old Mill District kicked off in the 1990s with open space, trails, and adaptive reuse of mill buildings. I remember when the Old Mill smokestack / the powerhouse space was actually a haunted house during Halloween. Back when it was derelict, before the mall and way before REI moved in and cleaned things up. I mean, I guess it was probably just before REI moved in and cleaned things up. But anyway, it was creepy, it was dusty, it was eerie, it was perfect for a haunted house. One of those things that made you both excited and terrified. That was the kind of raw, gritty experience that the Old Mill was. Over time, it grew into a mixed-use destination of shops, restaurants, galleries, offices, and more. In fact, I was part of the Red Robin opening team back in the early 2000s. Red Robin. Yum. Maybe 2001-ish or 2-ish, somewhere in there, whenever it opened, serving burgers and bottomless fries the same way they do it today. So I've been around, I've seen all of this development firsthand. And that's part of what makes covering the Old Mill so fun. Because I've seen it in stages, I've lived through the transitions, and I've felt the vibe shift over time. All right, so that's the high level arc. Industrial backbone, decline, visionary redevelopment, today's hybrid urban district. So one thing that I like to clarify with locals and newcomers alike is that the Old Mill district is more than just a shopping mall. When most people say Old Mill, they might mean the shopping strip and the retail core, but the district is bigger. It includes the plateau above the shopping district, where there are lots of office spaces, hotels, condos, and then across the river, including the amphitheater and more. In short, the mall is one piece of the district's puzzle. The district is the full ecosystem: shopping, entertainment, outdoor, public space. By the way, in a moment, we'll talk about Kiln, the new coworking anchor, and how that falls into the district's side of things as well. Okay, now let's talk about one of the district's crown jewels, the Hayden Homes Amphitheater. It used to be the Les Schwab Amphitheater. The amphitheater was built around 2000, 2002, 2001, 2002-ish on the west bank of the Deschutes as part of the district's vision of blending entertainment and landscape. Its capacity is about 8,000 people, and over the years, it's hosted everything from national headliners to local acts, festivals, community events, and more. In 2021, however, they renamed the venue the Hayden Homes Amphitheater after a local Central Oregon home builder. The amphitheater also saw some upgrades for better viewing, acoustics, seating, and infrastructure. This has helped it keep pace with larger productions and ultimately lure in bigger acts. Most importantly though, that concert venue brings in tremendous energy to the district. On big show nights, you see people walking through the mill paths, grabbing dinner, arriving early for the show. There's the parking, enjoying the river views. It's a crucial anchor that connects the retail and the experiential side of the district. All right, before we keep diving, if you're getting value from this breakdown and you want updates on new Bend developments and deep dives like this, go ahead and hit subscribe, because I've got a lot more coming on districts, neighborhoods, and what's next for all corners of Bend. Thanks. Cheers. Okay, now for the juicy part. What's changing? I'm gonna break this down into two kind of zones. New building / infrastructure in the district, and then new tenant announcements. All right, so first of all, in recent months, plans have surfaced for 3 new buildings on the north end of the Old Mill District, right in the shopping mall area. Now the idea is to densify, bring in new retail, restaurant spaces, and even introduce housing over these commercial spaces. Here's a rough breakdown. Building X, to be located right along the river, across from the amphitheater, is expected to have between 5,000 and 7,000 square feet, designed for a single tenant, perhaps a restaurant, with outdoor patio and a rooftop terrace that offers views of the river and amphitheater. Sounds awesome. Building Z will be about 8,700 square feet on the ground floor for retail, restaurant use, with 9 furnished apartments above, 1 and 2 bedroom units. Some which will be intended for short-term use, think visitors, artists, performers, while others may be long-term rentals. We're not exactly sure yet. And then we have Building Y, approximately 8,700 square feet of ground floor space for up to 3 tenants, likely retail or dining. The design is intentional. Buildings facing outwards towards the ponds and the pedestrian bridges back towards the middle of the shopping district. Parking is tucked back behind, outdoor spaces are emphasized, all to integrate them visually with the river and the district experience. Construction is targeted to finish by the end of 2026, but I've got my doubts because that's a lot to build in 1 year, less than a year really. This will be the first time in over a decade that new buildings are being added to the Old Mill District core, which is really exciting. Although, parking is definitely going to be a concern. All right, now check this. We have new tenant announcements as well. In addition to the structural expansion, there are some fresh tenant names making their way into the mix. Kiln Bend. It's a lifestyle co-working flex office hub. This is a significant new anchor for the district. Scheduled to open in spring of 2026, it's at 501 Hill Street. It's a 43,000 square foot, 2-story space featuring private offices, open desks, content studios, wellness zones, lounge space, and more. Their goal is to accommodate over 500 workers, creatives, and remote teams in Central Oregon. That's a lot of square footage. Then we have Warby Parker, the eyewear retailer. They're opening in the Old Mill District, and they already had their grand opening back in July. They moved into part of the space vacated by Victoria's Secret, who has currently moved over to the outlet mall on the south side of town. Madewell is the national fashion retailer known for its denim and timeless casual style. Is officially coming to Bend's Old Mill District. They'll be taking over about 4,500 square feet in the space between Sisters Coffee Company and Warby Parker. Again, in the other half of the Victoria's Secret space. And they're planning to open early 2026. Next, we have Will Leather Goods. They're opening an 1,100 square foot store in Bend's Old Mill District right next to Lululemon. They're known for premium full grain leather bags, belts, and backpacks, all backed by a lifetime guarantee. This is only their second Oregon location, so landing in Bend is a pretty big deal. Then we have a new New York style deli called Stacks. We're talking house cured and smoked meats, beet cured salmon, rotisserie meats, fresh salads, and more. The menu blends traditional New York City deli fare with Pacific Northwest flavors. They're building it in the spot formerly occupied by Gap Kids right along the center plaza, with patio seating overlooking the river. So in short, co-working, lifestyle, retail, dining, a great mix coming in. Okay, so what's the big takeaway? The Old Mill is shifting from just a shopping hub to a 24/7 live, work, play district. New apartments, Kiln coworking, and fresh retail should keep the energy going beyond mall hours. The tenant mix from Warby Parker and Madewell to Will Leather Goods and a New York-style deli shows the balance between national names and local character. The trick will be keeping it authentic and not cookie cutter. Yes, the new density may mean more parking woes, but it'll also increase foot traffic, and we'll have to manage that. But the river, the trails, the smokestacks, they remain that magic sauce. That blend of heritage and new energy is why the Old Mill isn't just surviving retail's challenges right now in today's world, it's doubling down on growth. So that's the story. The Old Mill District started as heavy industry, became a visionary redevelopment, matured into a hybrid shopping/entertainment destination. It's an evolving dance between heritage and growth, and it's truly one of my favorite areas in all of Bend. Hey, if you like this video, do me a favor, like, share, leave a comment with your thoughts. What's your favorite memory at the Old Mill District? What would you like to see open next? And of course, if you or someone you know is looking to buy or sell here in the area, my team would love to be your local real estate resource of choice. You can find our contact information down below in the description of this video, or just simply go to cromrealestate.com. And of course, hit subscribe. We cover everything from recreation real estate and from smokestacks to sushi. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.